Greetings to you and greetings to everyone watching at home. We are coming to you from the Nelson Mandela Museum here in Mthatha, where a wax artist is showcasing his statues of Tata Nelson Mandela from his birth up until the day he passed on. There are many statues in one of the rooms here showing Nelson Mandela's road, his fight for freedom, the days when he was with Winnie Mandela, the days when he was boxing, the days when he was in Robben Island, and the day when he passed on. To tell us more about these statues and this exhibition, I have the CEO of the Nelson Mandela Museum who will just elaborate more. Tata, can you please just tell us more about what led to these statues being showcased here in Nelson Mandela Museum?
Thank you. This is the public space, Nelson Mandela Museum. Now, as a public space, from time to time, to show that we are still relevant, we also provide a space to young and emerging artists to showcase their talent. Now, as far as this public art exhibition is concerned, one of the young artists in South Africa has produced quite a number of images in an artistic form, interpreting Mandela's journey from life until his last day on earth. So we're quite excited that we are hosting this exhibition today, which will run until the 31st of July. It is here during the Youth Month and until his month in July, which to us is very significant, because if you provide a space to a young artist to do a public sculpture, to interpret the life of Madiba in a very particular way, you are starting to say to the public, what are other forms of remembering that Madiba? There's a museum here, obviously. But how do we as a public start to imagine the life of Tata Madiba? What forms of memories are we spreading across on his life? So this exhibition today presents that platform for young South Africans to imagine, to start to question ways in which Madiba is reinterpreted or is presented in the world. I think we're quite excited because this presents a platform to younger South Africans that they have a role to play in interpreting our history, in upholding Madiba's values in a number of ways. So this becomes an important occasion for us. We'll be here, the exhibition, until the 31st of July, which is Mandela's birthday.
Okay, talking about learning more about Tata Nelson Mandela here within the museum, how do you think these statues are going to enhance the learning experience for people who visit the museum?
I think it starts to question what we perceive as a museum. Recently, or nowadays, we talk about COVID-19, which in a way we are starting to imagine ways of presenting a museum to the public. But also, how do we as South Africans start to interpret the life of Tata Madiba in a way that best suits us in different ways of our origins? So I'm saying this exhibition presents that platform for us to engage with Tata Madiba's life in a very different way from that is traditional museum. You would have a conventional museum where you see portraits on the wall, but this one is reimagined Madiba's images, interpreted by a very young South African, to say how do we see him when he was much younger. At a time we're not used to him. How do we start to imagine? How do we question how we present our leaders like Tata Madiba and others? So this is an opportunity, I'm saying, for young people to showcase their talent, for all of us to embrace our heritage. and use different ways of presenting to the public how we interpret, how we perceive our past and memorials.
Okay, talking about COVID-19 now, this viewing is open up until the 31st of July. So how are you going to ensure that people adhere to the lockdown regulations during the visit here within the museum?
Oh, thank you. You must have seen that when you were coming in through the museum, there was signage indicating that we are COVID-19 compliant in terms of sanitization and other social distancing and other activities. So no one is allowed inside the museum without a mask. You start to sanitize from outside the museum. So already when you come in, you would have sanitized, you would have put on your face mask. So in addition to that, social distancing. Because we normally rely on tour guides, but there are going to be instances where we don't have tour guides. We allow such groups or members of the public to just wander around the museum for one reason. Some of these images, some of these pillars, some of these panels are self-explanatory. You wouldn't necessarily need an interpreter or someone to mediate between the panel and the visit. So we were trying our best to ensure that we are not a space where we promote or we spread COVID-19.
Well, thank you so much for your time. That is the CEO of Nelson Mandela Museum here in Mthatha, talking about the viewing of Nelson Mandela statues here. You will remember that next month is Nelson Mandela month, and a lot of people are expected to visit here and also to view such statues. From me, Lwandile Mbulali, it is back to you in studio.